You know, some episodes of Little House on the Prairie stay with you because of love. A wedding, a birth, a quiet moment between Charles and Caroline. But others? They stay because they shook us, because they dared to go where few family shows ever had. And one of those moments came in the final season, when the show tackled a story so dark, so painful that it still echoes today. The story of Sylvia, a young woman played by Olivia Barash, who was raped by a man wearing a clown mask. Yes, a clown mask. It sounds like something out of a horror film. But in 1982, it happened on Little House, a show once known for harmonica melodies and prairie, sunsets, and Olivia Barash lived it, not just as an actress, but as a teenager stepping into one of the most intense roles the series had ever done, and years later, she spoke about it. Not with bitterness, not with regret, but with honesty, with strength, and even pride. Let me tell you what she said. Did you know you would play a girl who was raped by a guy in a scary clown mask? Her response? I didn't know about the clown mask. Laughs, I knew that character was going to be raped. I was ready to do this, wanted to do something dramatic. So, it was awesome for me to show off my skills. And can you believe that? She wasn't bragging, she wasn't being callous, she was being honest. She was 17, an aspiring actress, hungry to grow, to prove herself. And when this role came along, she saw it as a challenge, a chance to show what she could do. Not because she wanted to suffer, but because she believed in the power of storytelling. And yes, the clown mask part? She didn't know. Can you imagine getting the script and reading? A man in a clown mask attacks Sylvia in the schoolhouse at night. Even now, it feels surreal. But back then, it was meant to show how evil can hide behind a smile, how something that looks playful can be terrifying. And Olivia didn't flinch. She took the role. She gave it everything. And in doing so, she became part of a moment that changed the show forever. Now, let's talk about the scene, because it wasn't sensational. It wasn't exploitative. It was quiet. Dark. Real. Sylvia, a new student in Walnut Grove, stays late at the schoolhouse. The lights flicker, wind howls, and then he appears. No music, no warning, just fear. And when it happens, we don't see the assault. We see after. Sylvia sitting alone, shaking, covered in dust, her dress torn. And when Albert Ingalls finds her, she can barely speak, and that silence, that stillness, that's what made it powerful. Because it wasn't about shock, it was about survival, and Olivia carried that weight, not just in the scene, but in how she reflected on it later. She said, I was ready to do this, wanted to do something dramatic, and that says something about her. She wasn't running from hard roles, she was embracing them. Because she understood, art isn't always about comfort. Sometimes it's about truth, and this was truth. Rape, violence, trauma. It happened then. It happens now. And Little House of all shows chose to show it, not perfectly, not without controversy, but with intention, and Olivia was brave enough to step into that fire. Now, here's something surprising. When asked if she was a fan of the series growing up, she said, haven't watched the show much. Laughs. I'll be honest with you. I've only watched my 2 episodes, and others where Matthew Labyorteaux was in. And then she added, Matthew Labyorteaux was an absolute 80s dreamboat. And honestly, I love that, because it brings us back to earth. She wasn't raised on Little House reruns. She didn't grow up dreaming of Walnut Grove. She was just a talented kid from LA who got cast in a groundbreaking role, and she did it. Well, but she also had a crush on Albert Ingalls, played by Matthew Labyorteaux, and not just as a fan, as a friend, because they went to the same private school. A long, with Matthew's brother, Patrick, so when they met on set, it wasn't awkward, it was familiar, comfortable, and that helped. Because acting alongside someone you trust, especially in such a heavy scene, makes all the difference. She said, "We went to school together. We all knew each other. It was wonderful acting with a great actor my age. It was pretty awesome, and you can feel that. Their scenes together aren't forced. They're tender, respectful, full of care. And in the aftermath, Albert doesn't try to fix her, he just sits with her, listens, holds space, and that's exactly what survivors need." Now, here's a moment that still gives me chills. Olivia said, "I remember this made me cry. I think it was in that death scene, when Albert starts crying. He did so good." She wasn't talking about her own trauma scene, she was talking about watching Matthew act, seeing him break down, and it moved her. So much so, she cried, not as Sylvia, but as Olivia, because she saw his heart, his dedication, his talent, and in that moment, she realized this wasn't just a job, it was art, and they were making it together. Now, let's talk about the legacy of this storyline, because it wasn't just about Sylvia, it was about breaking silence. In the early 80s, sexual assault was rarely talked about on TV, especially not on a show watched by families. But Little House did it. Not perfectly. Some fans were shocked, others felt it didn't belong. But many survivors said, "For the first time, I felt seen," and that matters. Because stories like Sylvia's remind us, trauma doesn't discriminate. Healing takes time, and kindness, like Albert's, can be a lifeline. And Olivia Barash, she carried that responsibility with grace. She didn't glamorize it. She didn't shy away. She stepped into darkness, not for fame, but to tell a story that needed to be told. And today, she continues to work as an actress, writer, and advocate. Strong, not clear-eyed, still. Proud of what she did, and rightly so, because playing Sylvia wasn't just another role, it was a moment of courage for the show, for television, for survivors, and for a young actress who said, "I'm ready," and meant it. So the next time you watch that episode, quiet, haunting, unforgettable, don't just see a plot line, see the woman behind it, the one who didn't know about the clown mask, who laughed when she remembered her crush, who cried watching her co-star, and who, decades later, still stands by her choice. Olivia Barash. Not just Sylvia, but a quiet trailblazer. And proof that sometimes the bravest thing an actor can do is say yes to the hardest role and walk through the fire, not for applause, but for truth. And if we listen closely, we can still hear her voice, soft, strong, real, saying, "I was ready," and we believe her.